Alrighty guys, another day, another strength. I'm back here with another video, and today I'm going to make a quick video on what I think are three of the most important aspects of training. So I think this video will be helpful if you're finding yourself getting emotionally attached to your training, getting disappointed, having setbacks, spinning your wheels, etc., etc. So let's get right into it. The 3 points, three most important aspects of training. Number one, training is lifelong. That's right, very sage, very wise advice. Talking Mr. Miyagi here, right? So training is lifelong. To put this in perspective, I'm 32 years old right now. I've been lifting for about 5 or 6 years. My squat, as of this last year, was around 370, which is not great, right? That's totally fine. But to put this in perspective, right? The first time I failed a squat rep was around 200 pounds, and this was about 5 years ago, which is an average gain of about 34 pounds per year. 30 if we round down, so we'll round down to 30, right? If I add 30 pounds to my squat each year for the next 20 years, I'm going to be squatting 870 pounds, right? Probably not going to happen, so that's probably a little bit too aggressive. But if I only add 10 pounds a year, right, that's 2 PRs a year. That's much more realistic, and that's still not very fast progress at all. I'll be squatting 570, right, by that same time, 20 years from now. If it's only 5 pounds a year, very conservative, we'll be squatting 470. So I would say that I can reasonably expect to squat between 470 and 570 by the time I turn 52, if I just train hard enough to add 5 to 10 pounds a year to my squat, which is totally reasonable, totally manageable, right? And I could probably make progress beyond that point if I really want to. All I have to do is keep showing up and setting a PR 1 to 2 times a year. So if you're getting discouraged, right, just frame it like that. This is lifelong, you're gonna keep on going. Even if you start training when you're 50, you can still hit PRs into your 70s and so on and so forth. See it all the time. And then regardless of my total strength, I still want to continue training just so that I can stay strong enough to be healthy and enjoy the rest of my life well into my later years. This mindset allows me to not get too emotional / attached to any particular workout, any particular week, month, etc., right? Contextualizing setbacks and injuries in this manner is key, I think, right? So if you do have an injury, a setback, you fall off the wagon on your diet, whatever it may be, right? Just think, I'm going to be doing this for the next 20, 25, 30 years, however long, depending on your age. And then it really puts things in perspective, and those little slip-ups aren't going to make as big of a deal, right? Point number 2 now, training is ever-changing, right? When we start out, we're always looking for the best program, right? The best diet, that sort of thing. Googling, asking ChatGPT, what's the best thing for me to do? What's the best diet? Training and nutrition must adapt to our new levels of strength as we advance. Food tolerance, etc., right? Because over time you might be fine, for example, eating dairy at one point in your life, and then you get a little bit older, can't tolerate dairy anymore, right? Just trying simply to tolerate it isn't working. Goals also change over time, and we must adapt our training and nutrition to this as well. As the old guys always say at the gym, the only thing that stays the same is that things change, right? Always true. So over time, as things are changing, you gotta adapt your program. You're gonna have to be changing it up. The thing that helped you get from your squat from 225 to 315 is not the same thing that's gonna get your squat from 315 to 405, and then from 405 to 500, etc. You're gonna have to try different approaches. Different things will work at different points of your life based off of your life stress at that time, your food tolerances, your time in the gym to train, your sleep, all kinds of other factors. Point number 3, training / progress is non-linear. And so this is specifically for my starting strength bros out there, average starting strength enthusiast, right? The NLP, which lasts about 2 to 6 months on average, it's a very small snapshot of your total training career. If you train and get stronger for the next 20 to 40 years, depending on your age, the NLP is at most around 3% of your total training career, right? So it's relatively inconsequential in the grand scheme of things if you're going to train for a very long period of time. Aside from new PRs becoming less predictable as you advance, life will hand you your fair share of deloads, illness, childbirth, injuries, school, work, etc. That's all going to get in the way. That's all going to happen, right? So that initial NLP, that linear progress, just going straight up, is not going to happen after a certain period of time. Even if you're a super dedicated lifter and you're just really into, hitting PRs on a regular basis, you're still going to have, undulations in your training. You're not just going to hit a PR every single workout for longer than a couple months. And that's just kind of the way it works based off our physiology. Sorry. But yeah, in order to put all this into practice, you're going to need to find a strong why for training in the first place. You also need to find something about the process that you really enjoy. So people like myself just kind of inherently enjoy exerting ourselves physically and seeing the weight on the bar increase, which I often take for granted. I think that's actually the minority of people, right? In the YouTube fitness space and on social media, it's the majority. So we can kind of get our view diluted in that way. But most people do not enjoy the act of training with weights or exercising in general. So if this is you, think of something that you do enjoy and then tie the act of training to that. So for example, if you love traveling with your significant other, right? Think of how many more trips you'll be able to take over the years if you stay physically ready to travel, right? You're gonna have to like lug suitcases around. It's quite literally called luggage. You're gonna have to walk around a lot on your trips, right? So the more physically capable you are, the longer you can do that, the higher the quality of your trips is gonna be. If you love eating, for example, that's a big one for a lot of people. Think about all the extra calories you can eat. Think of all the, compounded over the years, especially if you stay strong and muscular, right? You really eat extra food, eat maybe a little bit more junk food if that's your kind of thing, right? There's all kinds of reasons to do this. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. That's all I wanted to talk about today. If you guys enjoyed it, say something in the comments, and then I'll see you guys in the next video, I suppose. All right, goodbye.